Kris, down 3-0 about 15 minutes into the game. What were some of the issues you think you guys had in that first period?
One, the first period, not finishing our chances. I thought we had some good looks here in the first. And then second, defensively, some missed assignments. One off the live rush, one off the defensive zone coverage. Yeah, that's what I saw in two of the three goals. And, not playing with enough intensity to start the game. You know, after we were down 3-0, Nurse got in the fight. We had a great response, finished that first period. But, tough to come back and after you're down 3-0.
McDavid's on this great point streak and is generating a ton of offense. When you look at lines 3 and 4, like how far away are those guys from chipping in a goal? Like what do they have to do to help a little bit here?
That's a tough question. Obviously, they got to get pucks to the net, but there's a lot of work to do before just getting pucks to the net. That's pretty simple. That's pretty easy to say. There's a lot more that goes into that, and less time you spend in the defensive zone, more likelihood you can create some chances. But I think we're spend a little more time in the defensive zone, especially those lines 3 and 4. So one, having some more stops quicker, and then transition, getting it out and playing some more offensive. Because I think our guys can create some chances. I think they know what to do in the offensive zone. They've showed that they can score, but there hasn't been very much.
Was a unique look there with the rookies all on a line together. What did you see from them tonight, Kris? And just give us your thoughts on why you decided to put those three together.
One, I think Howard and Hudson have been playing a lot together. They're familiar with each other. But I also think that the three of them playing together, they're able to just play their game. They're not worried about deferring to somebody else and passing the puck to somebody else. They're all offensive guys. That's another thing that they can, they're not in a shutdown role. They're not playing with defensive-minded players. And they're also not intimidated playing with some other guys, where they feel that they always got to give them the puck. So, tonight, together, they played about 10 minutes. There's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff, but overall, I think for our first game together, it was mostly positive.
You were clearly trying to get them some ice, even in that third period. You left them out there for a D-zone draw. Savoy is in a center. He ends up losing that draw. Hindsight's 20/20, but is that a situation where you might normally think of Henrique, or were you just looking to challenge him a little bit and say, go win that draw?
We were keep on sending earlier in the game. We were, putting Leon and Connor out there for D-zone face-offs. Obviously, Rico a lot of the times. You don't want to be putting your top lines in defensive zone face-offs all the time. And in the third period, we have a defensive zone face-off. We need a goal. It's not good to send one of your top lines out there. So Rico is absolutely available for that. But we're also chasing a game, and here's those three that we feel that can chip in offensively. Unfortunately, they lost that draw and ends up costing us. They end up scoring on it. Similar situation later in the third period. There was another defensive zone face-off, almost identical, where we do pull those guys off and put somebody out there, and we end up losing that one too. So it's all in hindsight.
Kris, you mentioned the face-off. Sometimes at the end of the game, you look at the face-offs, get beat badly, and you still win the game. Was tonight more indicative? They had the puck a lot. They won 62% of the face-offs.
Yeah, face-offs are important. Face-offs usually are important on special teams. That is so key, special teams. I know I've looked at, yes, it's important to win draws, have the puck a little bit more. I know there's no evidence on winning more face-offs that you're going to win more games. That's been looked at, but there's definitely times where, face-offs are important. I think, possession, that had a little bit to do with it. Probably had more to do with rebound recoveries, whether it was in the offensive zone or D zone. I think they recovered more than we did, and that's probably where most of the possession time fell.
The Bouchard passed the puck up the middle, got stolen, and they scored a goal. How much of that is on Bouchard, and how much of that is on your forwards who are standing in the neutral zone instead of coming back to help the defenseman so he doesn't have to pass at 60 feet?
They were back. They built it. The two forwards would come back. They sat on top of our forwards, and you know, there's a little bit of miscommunication. I believe that, you know, one of the forwards, you know, was expecting the pass on the outside lane. Bush felt that he was cutting to the middle, and there's where the pass was, and it got intercepted. So, yeah, that's what I saw in that play.
Just wanted to ask about the Draisaitl line. A couple goals against tonight. What are you sort of seeing with Leon? I know you just got Roslovic back with him here, but since the break here with Leon in particular and his line.
Yeah, it hasn't been as dominant as we're accustomed to. Obviously, Leon, when whoever he's with, is usually driving a line and very dominant. And, you know, since the break, they haven't gained much traction. So, obviously, Podkolzin was a little under the weather tonight. You know, we're going to look at some things of why, but, you know, every player can't be dominant for the entire season. But, you know, having Rosie there, obviously, is a good quality player. Felt that would give that line a boost. And, you know, I feel that probably still will.
Can you coach offense out of, you know, you got a team here where there's one guy that's churning on offense and not much help coming right now. Can you coach offense out of the bottom six? It's been not very productive for a long time here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's things that you can do. There's, you know, whether that's the strategy of getting the puck to the point and then just shooting pucks, looking for sticks for rebounds, that kind of thing. There's, you know, if you got more offensive guys, you're looking off the rush. You know, everyone can have a strategy. Every line can have a little bit of a strategy. So, you know, but most of it, a lot of it is when players are feeling good and feel good about their game. That's where the offense usually comes. And right now, we've gone a long stretch without a lot of guys not contributing. That, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We're a little short in production and that depth role.